Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're heading back, way back to ancient Egypt. Think buried secrets, monumental temples.
Tanned, lots of sand.
Exactly. And right in the middle of it all, we're focusing on one truly fascinating figure, the Pharaoh Queen, Hatshepsut. A real enigma.
Absolutely.
So our mission today is to kind of unpack her story. We want to piece together her life, how she rose to power, what her legacy was. We've got some great sources, insights from archaeologists on the ground, National Geographic findings.
It's a rich field.
Yeah.
And Egypt, well, it's just unparalleled for archaeology, isn't it? Discoveries there can genuinely rewrite history.
Mm-hmm.
And Hatshepsut is a perfect case study for that.
Yeah.
She really makes you rethink things.
Okay, so let's dive into that revolutionary aspect. You hear that word a lot with her. She was only the second woman ever to rule as pharaoh, and the first in, nearly 300 years?
That's right. 3 centuries. And in a system so deeply rooted in tradition where kingship was inherently male.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it was groundbreaking. Unthinkable, almost.
So how did she actually pull it off? She was regent first, right, for her stepson?
Yes. For about 7 years, she ruled for Thutmose III, who was just an infant. But then she made this incredibly audacious move.
Which was?
She didn't just continue as regent. She declared herself king.
Who?
Pharaoh. Not queen, consort, not regent, but the full title, King of Egypt.
Wow. And there's actual evidence of this power dynamic, this tension maybe, etched right into her temple walls.
Oh, definitely. Dr. Zafransky's work highlights this beautifully. You see these images, carvings, depicting 2 kings ruling together.
Her and Thutmose III.
Presumably.
Yeah.
But in every single scene, Hatshepsut is positioned as, well, as he puts it, number 1, visually dominant. There's no ambiguity about who's really in charge.
You made sure everyone knew.
Exactly. And her reign wasn't just symbolic. It was incredibly active, very impactful. She oversaw military campaigns.
Did she actually go to battle? Some sources suggest she claimed to.
She claimed to have visited the battlefields, yes. Whether she physically fought is debated. But more concretely, she was a master of diplomacy and trade. She reopened international trade routes, bringing back incredible wealth and exotic goods, incense, ebony, ivory.
Things Egypt hadn't seen for a while.
Right. And she built, my goodness, did she build, huge monuments all across Egypt. It was a way to cement her authority, put her stamp on the kingdom, literally.
And these weren't small projects. Her own temple is magnificent, obviously, but it was just one of maybe 10 major constructions.
At least. Over her 22 years on the throne, she added significantly to the Karnak temple complex, which was already huge.
Including that massive obelisk, the 98-foot one.
That's the one. Still the largest standing obelisk in Egypt today. An incredible feat of engineering and a very visible symbol of her power.
Okay, let's talk about that image, that representation. It's one of the most kind of confusing things for people. Why was she so often shown with male features?
Yeah, it is striking. You see the statues, the reliefs. She's wearing the male kilt, the Nemes headdress, that striped royal headcloth.
And the false beard, the pharaonic beard.
Exactly. All symbols associated purely with male pharaohs before her.
But there's evidence she wasn't trying to hide her gender, right? Something about hieroglyphs.
Yes, a crucial find by Dr. Colleen Darnell at Karnak. Amidst all the male iconography, there's this hieroglyphic text that clearly reads, "For my beloved daughter."
Daughter, explicitly female.
Undeniably. So the Egyptians knew. They knew she was female, but they depicted her with male royal attributes. They, as Dr. Darnell puts it, worked with it. They adapted the rules.
So what does that really mean? What was the point of the male symbols then?
It wasn't about pretending to be a man. It was about claiming the office of pharaoh, which until then had only been visually represented through male symbols.
So the symbols represented the job, not the person's gender.
Precisely. Think of the artificial beard. Even male pharaohs wore that. It wasn't their real beard. It was a divine attribute linking them to the god Osiris. So by adopting these symbols, Hatshepsut wasn't saying, "I am a man." She was saying, "I am the pharaoh." She was making the role itself accessible to her, transforming its visual language. It was a master stroke, really. She dressed as the pharaoh, embodying the authority.
That makes so much more sense. It wasn't denial, it was assertion.
Exactly. And speaking of women's roles, Suzanne Onstein's work at Dra Abu al-Naga adds another layer. It's a different site, a necropolis.
Right, focusing on everyday people, not just royalty.
Well, a mix, but definitely giving us insight into broader society. Her team has this incredibly difficult job piecing together thousands of human remains. Looters have just torn through these tombs over the centuries.
Must be painstaking work.
Immensely. dealing with fragments of bone, men, women, even mummified children.
And she found something quite dramatic there, didn't she? Something related to childbirth.
Yes, a very poignant discovery. The remains of a young woman, probably only about 20. And the physical evidence, a still distended vagina, strongly indicated she died during or shortly after childbirth.
Wow, that really brings home the dangers women face.
It does. It's stark, tangible evidence for a reality we know existed, but rarely see so directly in the archaeological record. A very human story.
But it wasn't all hardship for women, was it? Ornstein also found evidence suggesting women held significant positions.
Yes, that's the crucial counterbalance.
Right.
While the risks, like childbirth, were real, the artistic evidence paintings found in tombs suggest women weren't just passive figures. They're shown participating in all levels of society, sometimes depicted with equal stature to men. They held positions of power, managed households, participated in religious life.
So a complex picture, not just victims, but active participants.
Definitely. Ancient Egyptian society seems to have allowed for more prominent roles for women than many other ancient cultures.
Okay, let's go back to Hatshepsut's own monumental legacy. Her temple at Deir el-Bahri, near Luxor. It's just stunning.
It really is architecturally unique, carved right into the cliff face.
3 massive terraces connected by these huge ramps over 100 feet long.
That's right. And lined with statues. At the top level, those 26 imposing statues of Osiris welcoming you. It's designed to impress.
And Dr. Safransky, you mentioned him earlier, he's dedicated a huge chunk of his career to this site, hasn't he?
An incredible commitment. 19 seasons, basically picking up where Howard Carter's team left off about a century ago, patiently excavating, restoring, trying to understand every detail.
And facing some serious challenges along the way. I read about this massive block of stone they found.
Oh, the 1-ton sandstone block.
Yeah.
Just imagine finding that perched precariously on top of fragile, ancient mud bricks.
And no cranes, no heavy machinery allowed on site. What did they do?
Pure manpower and clever engineering. They had to figure out how to safely support it and move it without disturbing whatever might be underneath. A really tense moment, I bet.
So what was underneath? Did they find anything?
They did. Small things, but incredibly valuable. Fragments of ancient pottery, traces of food, things intentionally buried as offerings to the gods when the temple was first built. Back in the New Kingdom.
So these tiny clues help date the construction and understand the rituals.
Exactly. They're vital pieces of the puzzle, especially for figuring out the timeline and what happened there, particularly after Hatshepsut's death.
Which brings us back to Thutmose III. He eventually took power after her death, right, around when she was 50.
Yes, he finally became the sole ruler. And there seems to have been a bit of posthumous score settling.
That's so.
Architecturally, he built his own temple right next to hers, but deliberately positioned it higher up the cliff face.
Higher? By how much?
About 11 feet higher. It seems like a clear political statement. You know, my temple is now point number 1 in this valley. Bit of one-upmanship carved in stone.
Trying to overshadow her, even in death?
It certainly looks that way. Right. But there's a nice bit of historical irony here.
Oh.
Thutmose's temple suffered badly from ancient earthquakes and landslides. It's quite damaged. Whereas Hatshepsut's temple, thanks to the restoration work,
stands magnificent today.
It does. Though, interestingly, Dr. Safransky's team is also now working on restoring Thutmose's temple. He says it's only a matter of time before its story is fully revealed too.
That's great. But Hatshepsut's ambition wasn't just confined to Luxor, was it? To build these things, she needed materials. Lots of them.
Vast quantities, which takes us about 80 miles south, down the Nile, to the Gibel el Silsila sandstone quarries.
Right, where John Ward and Maria Nilsson are doing their research, and they actually live on a boat there during the season.
They do, with their kids, the dog.
Yeah.
It's real dedication to fieldwork, living right alongside the history they're excavating.
And Hatshepsut used this quarry extensively.
Massively. We're talking hundreds of thousands of tons of sandstone quarried under her reign from this site alone. The scale is just mind-boggling.
And the sand itself holds clues, like iron filings.
It does. Tiny traces of iron from the workers' chisels, lost thousands of years ago. Even fish bones, probably from the workers' lunches, preserved in the sand. Little glimpses into their daily lives.
Amazing. And they found something pretty spectacular there, didn't they? A sphinx.
A huge one. An unfinished, 10-foot-long, ram-headed sphinx. A cryosphinx.
Okay, what's a cryosphinx? Lion's body, ram's head.
Exactly. These were often used as guardians, lining processional ways. And it's thought Hatshepsut actually started that famous Avenue of Sphinxes, the one stretching nearly 2 miles between Luxor and Karnak temples.
So this quarry sphinx might have been destined for that avenue.
That was the theory. And things got even more interesting.
Wow.
Underneath the big Sphinx, they found a miniature version, a little model cryosphinx.
A model. Why?
John and his Egyptian colleague Khaled think it might have been a practice piece. Maybe an apprentice sculptor was trying it out. And perhaps they discarded it because one of the horns broke off during carving.
Like a sculptor's rough draft. That's fantastic. Very
A minute. A relatable moment of maybe frustration from 3,500 years ago.
So they have this quarry sphinx. How did they try to prove it was meant for the avenue at Karnak?
They needed a match. They went to Karnak Temple, examining the existing sphinxes there. They weren't just looking for the same artistic style.
But something more specific.
Yes, specific geological markers, tiny black inclusions, little flecks within the sandstone itself. If they could find a sphinx at Karnak with the exact same type and pattern of inclusions as the stone from their quarry,
It would prove it came from Silsila.
bingo, a geological fingerprint.
And did they find one?
They did. Success. They found a sphinx in the temple grounds at Karnak that was a perfect match, geologically and stylistically.
Wow. So that quarry sphinx was definitely meant for Hatshepsut's Grand Avenue. It would have traveled over 100 miles down the Nile.
An incredible journey for such a massive piece of stone, which just underscores her ambition, right?
Absolutely. Moving these things. We talked about the 98-foot obelisk earlier. Those weighed something like 320 tons.
Around that, yes. Colossal feats of engineering and logistics. And as the Darnells point out, this wasn't just about religious devotion, though that was certainly part of it.
It was also propaganda.
A giant statement of propaganda, as they put it. Building on such a scale, moving mountains almost. It was a way to ensure her name echoed through eternity, to position herself as one of Egypt's greatest, most powerful pharaohs.
And it worked. We're still talking about her.
We really are.
Before we wrap up, there was another discovery mentioned at a different site, Qubet El Hawa, by Martina Badanova.
Yes, another necropolis. Her team is working on unexplored tombs there, which is always exciting. And they've already made some really moving finds.
Including a child's body.
Yes, found just outside one of the tombs. Tiny, incredibly fragile remains. It's apparently quite rare to find preserved child burials in that specific area. So it was significant and quite emotional for the team.
I can imagine. Finds like that really connect you to the past on a human level.
They absolutely do. And near the child, they also found an adult mummy, still covered by its cartonnage face mask.
Cartonnage, that's like layered linen and plaster.
Exactly, often painted or gilded. These masks were crucial for the afterlife journey, helping the deceased soul recognize its body. Finding a high-quality mask like this suggests the person was of higher status, likely from the Middle Kingdom period.
And they were racing against the wind to save it.
Literally. Strong desert winds can be incredibly destructive to delicate artifacts like cartonnage once they're exposed. So it becomes a frantic effort to document and preserve them before they disintegrate.
It really highlights the dedication of all these archaeologists we've talked about. Safransky, Ward, Nilsson, the Darnells, Onstein, Bardonova.
And their teams, yes. Working often in difficult conditions, dedicating years, sometimes decades, to patiently uncovering these fragments of the past. It's incredibly important work.
So putting it all together, this deep dive shows Hatshepsut wasn't just one thing, not just a politician or just a builder or just a revolutionary. She was all of it.
I think so. She seems to have been this incredibly adept figure who masterfully navigated tradition and innovation. She used architecture, art, trade, religion, all the tools available to her to carve out this unprecedented space for herself in history.
Redefining what it meant to rule Egypt.
And that's the power of archaeology, isn't it? This painstaking analysis, looking at everything from giant temples down to tiny pottery shards or human bones. It constantly gives us new ways to see figures like Hatshepsut.
It keeps the story alive, challenges our old ideas.
Exactly. It enriches our understanding, makes the past feel much more complex, and honestly more interesting.
So here's a final thought to leave you with. As we've looked at how Hatshepsut used symbols and monuments, think about our leaders today. How might the things they build, the images they project, be interpreted thousands of years from now?
That's a fascinating question. What power plays or hidden messages might future archaeologists find in the remnants of our time? What story will our monuments tell?